In this video, I'm going to be breaking down my 2022-2023 quarterback rankings. I'm going to rank them 1 through 10, and this is for 2022-2023. Now, I do have criteria for this list. 1, how good are they as a player? What's their talent? 2, how well did they do last year? Stats, record, performance. Did they make the playoffs? 3, how good do I think they'll be in 2022-2023? 4, what is the player's future outlook? Are they going to break out and become one of the top MVP candidates, or are they going to retire soon? And 5, how will their team affect their performance, and how will their weapons affect their performance? Let's get right into this video. Starting this video off, we're going to go with the honorable mention, Russell Wilson. I just did not have a place for him in this list, but he is, in most cases, a top 10 quarterback. Unfortunately, just didn't have as good as a year. Last year went down with a thumb injury, ended up going 6-8 as a starter on a weak Seattle Seahawks team. Now, he did get traded to the Denver Broncos. Broncos hired a new head coach, and Russell Wilson also had a 25-6 touchdown to interception ratio last year, went above 3,000 yards. But I still think that just some of the players on this list are just above him, so Russell Wilson does go to my honorable mention. Deshaun Watson starts the list off at 10. He was traded to the Cleveland Browns from the Houston Texans for 3 first-round picks. Deshaun Watson was in a legal dispute. That is why he missed all of 2021. 22 women filed a sexual misconduct allegations against him. A lot of masseuses did. Now, he has not been currently suspended, and a lot of people forget how good Deshaun Watson was before he sat out 2021. He was a Pro Bowler and led the NFL in passing yards. I still think Deshaun Watson is a top 10 quarterback in this league, even though he is in a little bit of legal trouble. He could get suspended, but with this new Cleveland Browns team having an elite offensive line, an elite run game with Nick Chubb, and also having Amari Cooper, who they traded a 5th-round pick for this offseason, I think Deshaun Watson will be fine this year, and he's still a really good quarterback, and their team has a good outlook. I have Kyler Murray at 9. He has elite rushing ability with plus passing ability. Now, he is currently in contract disputes with the Cardinals, and recently there was a DeAndre Hopkins suspension, but they did trade for Hollywood Brown on draft night. They lost Christian Kirk, but they still do have Rondale Moore and a decent receiving core. They also have a league average offensive line with a above league average defense. I think that Lamar Jackson, once again, is going to be one of the quarterbacks that starts the year off extremely hot, and then the Cardinals usually just implode at the end of the season. Now, I hope that he transitions the second half of the year as good as he does in the beginning of the year, but Kyler is still an elite quarterback, even without DeAndre Hopkins. It's unbelievable how people just completely forget that Lamar Jackson won the MVP in 2020. Everybody's still calling him a running back, and that he is a trash quarterback and a passer, even though his stats were insane in 2020, and he did end 2021 with an injury. I still think Lamar Jackson's a top 10, arguable top 7 quarterback. Now, we do have him at 8 due to injury concerns, and also the Ravens receiving core isn't very good after they traded Hollywood Brown. Now, they are bringing in Greg Roman, and he's going to implement a heavy rushing attack. So we're likely going to see a lot more 2020 Lamar Jackson, where he mixes in the running with the passing. And I still think that the Ravens are going to be a competitive team in that AFC North. And with that rushing game, it takes a lot of heat off of Lamar Jackson, and it doesn't force him to throw the ball as much. They have J.K. Dobbins, they recently drafted Tyler Linderbaum, and they also still have Rondale Moore, who they drafted last year. Thinks Lamar Jackson is still really good, have him at 8. Matthew Stafford left the Lions and then just immediately won a Super Bowl with the Rams. He also has an elite defense, and he also has really good receiving cores, such as Cooper Kupp, Van Jefferson. Even though his offensive line got a lot weaker over the offseason with Whitworth retiring, I still think that Matthew Stafford, as a gunslinger, is going to elevate the Rams team a lot, and they're likely going to make the playoffs again due to the weak NFC this year. Matthew Stafford did lead the league, tied with Trevor Lawrence for interceptions, and he had 20 interceptions total. Man had an incredible postseason this year. I have him at 7. It truly didn't matter that Joe Burrow destroyed his knee last year because he came back with a bang, making the Super Bowl with the Bengals last year in 2021. Joe Burrow had elite accuracy, ability, and also his team was insane. Joe Burrow arguably has the best receiving core out of all of these quarterbacks on the list. I mean, he's got Tyler Boyd, he's got Jamar Chase, he's got T. Higgins. He had C.J. Uzomah last year. He's got a new offensive line this year with Lyle Collins, Alex Kappa. He's got Joe Mixon even. He's got a really good team. Joe Burrow statistically was also one of the best quarterbacks as well. I think that Joe Burrow once again has another really solid year. I think that he also is one of the best quarterbacks in the league. Push himself into the top 5 arguably. Now, I think that the Bengals won't make it back to the Super Bowl due to the Super Bowl slump. I still think that Joe Burrow is going to be an elite quarterback and solidify himself as maybe the best quarterback in his draft class following Justin Herbert. Justin Herbert came into the league and immediately became one of the top quarterbacks. He won Rookie of the Year, and last year he was incredibly close to getting to the playoffs, but the Raiders ended up kicking a field goal. Now, I think that his team failed him last year, even though that he was a top 5 quarterback last year. Guy had amazing stats, didn't turn over the ball as much, and really improved what he was extremely good at in 2020 in his rookie year. Extremely good at deep ball accuracy and stretching the field. Justin Herbert can throw it, can sling it with anybody on this list. He's got an elite receiving core with Keenan Allen and Mike Williams, and his offensive line is also extremely good now with Rashawn Slater and Corey Linsley. And I think that the Chargers are going to be extremely competitive now that they have a really good defense now with J.C. Jackson. I think the Chargers are going to be really good. I think that Justin Herbert is going to be the biggest reason why he goes to number 5. It seems Father Time has not yet affected Tom Brady. Tom Brady was arguably and statistically the best quarterback last year. Statistically, he was first in passing yards, he was first in touchdowns, and he was second in QBR. And this is all with Tom Brady being 44, and he's going to be 45 this year. Now, that is the reason why I have him at 4. This is Tom Brady's last year. Next year, he will be going to Fox, getting paid like $385 million to be a commentator. I do think this is Tom Brady's last year. We had a little bit of a retirement scare earlier. He's going to make the Bucs a really good team. The Bucs returned Mike Evans, Chris Godwin. They got Russell Gage. They also have an elite offensive line. Really like the Bucs this year, especially with another weak NFC, especially the NFC South, where they got Carolina, New Orleans, and the Falcons. They're going to probably be the first seed, and they are once again favorites, or the second favorite, to win the Super Bowl. Tom Brady I think will take a tiny step back from last year's insane year, but Tom Brady's yet again an elite quarterback. Does go at 4 for me. Now, the next 3 you can switch up any way you want to. The next 3 are all in the same category, but I have Josh Allen at 3. Now, he did have a really slow start to his career in Buffalo, but after they traded for Stephon Diggs, who's on the screen, Josh Allen has gotten a lot better and has pushed himself into elite territory. Now, I have him at 3, even though he is the favorite to win MVP, plus 700, right next to Patrick Mahomes. I have him at 3, just because I just need to see that. Like, I need to see a MVP. I need to see a Super Bowl before I can put him above 2 quarterbacks that have already proven that they do that stuff. Even though I think that is 100% or even 1,000,000% in Josh Allen's cards that he could win a Super Bowl, he could win an MVP. This guy has arguably the best arm in all of football, and he also is arguably the best rushing quarterback in the NFL, and his team is elite. The Buffalo Bills are likely going to be the top seeded team, and I'm really excited for Josh Allen this year. I think he even could be the MVP this year, but I do have him at 3. Aaron Rodgers is coming off of back-to-back MVP years. And looking at the stats, it's 100% deserving. In 2 years, guy has 9 interceptions and over 80 touchdowns. Now, the reason I have him at 2 is because not only can Aaron Rodgers not play in the playoffs, guy shits the bed when he's in the playoffs. He lost his best receiver and arguably the best receiver in the entire NFL in Davante Adams, who's going to the Raiders. Now, they did draft Deshaun Watson, who I think can be a decent replacement and somewhat help that loss. But that loss is way too much to bring Aaron Rodgers and to keep him at 1. Even though he is back-to-back MVP, I think he is going to take a tiny step back, and I still think the interception numbers are going to be around the same. Just don't think that the yards and touchdowns will. So I have him at 2. Patrick Mahomes is my number 1 quarterback coming into the 2022-2023 season. Now, he did lose Tyreek Hill, but already in his young career, he has an MVP and has been to 4 consecutive AFC Championship games. He also has won a Super Bowl. Patrick Mahomes last year did take a tiny step back from his insane 2020 and 2019 seasons. Patrick Mahomes has the most talent. He also arguably has the best arm, and he's had the best weapons a lot. He's returning Travis Kelce, even though he's getting a little older. He has an elite offensive line. He has a league average defense, and he's got Andy Reid, who's a good coach. Patrick Mahomes somehow makes every play, and it really showed in the playoffs last year, coming back with that Buffalo Bills. All he needs is 13 seconds. He really showed why he is the number 1 quarterback, even though they did choke in the 4th quarter to the Bengals. Patrick Mahomes is the best quarterback, even though, depending on where you stand, you can flip-flop the top 3. Aaron Rodgers could be 1 due to him winning back-to-back MVPs. Josh Allen can be 1 due to his potential, and Patrick Mahomes can also be 1 due to him just being Patrick Mahomes. I am concerned, though, that he's without Tyreek Hill, but I think he's going to prove a lot of people wrong. He's got Sky Moore, Juju Smith-Schuster's coming back, they got McCole Hardman, and they also have Justin Ross, who is a massive steal, who I think is going to be an impact player. That's going to do it for this video, and let me know your thoughts about the rankings down below in the comments. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. I want to make this a series, but I don't know if every single ranking video is going to be a long-term one, but thank you for watching.